Good morning. We give everybody just a moment to join us and for our producer to hook up all of our Facebook and Habit Finder and Augmandino. So we get started this morning. Excited to be with you. It's a beautiful sunny day here. We had a thunderstorm yesterday with hail. It looked like a tornado could drop out of those clouds. It didn't, fortunately, but everything looks so green and beautiful this morning. It's just awesome. Hopefully, everything is well where you are. And we're looking forward to having a conversation this morning about the greatest secret of success in all ventures. Let's break into it and go to work. Og Mandino shares with us in scroll number 2, which is one of my favorite scrolls, the 10 scrolls, found in the greatest salesman of the world. He said that love is the greatest secret of success in all ventures. Muscle can split a shield and even destroy life, but only the unseen power of love can open the heart. And until I master this art, I'm no more than a peddler in the marketplace. He goes on to say, I can use love as my greatest weapon, and none on whom I call can defend against its force. I can melt all hearts like in the sun whose rays soften the coldest clay, which means we can soften the coldest heart, poetically spoken. So, why is love the greatest secret of success? I want to share with you 3 reasons this morning, 3 important reasons why love is the most important principle of success. And like so often, we can get a concept in our head and you might go, wow, yeah, I get it. This isn't about getting it. This morning, let's talk about integrating it. Let's talk about bringing it into our lives and making it part of our process, the way in which we choose to live and connect. Okay, number one, love, agape love, this heightened level of awareness that Og is writing about. Number one, it helps us get outside of ourself. Be with me for a moment. Now, there's a wide spectrum of why we focus on ourselves. But a wise friend once said to me, don't tell me we'd be less concerned about what people think about us if we knew how little they actually do. What we do know is they're thinking about themselves. Almost everyone is. And that's why when you practice the 3 things we're going to talk about today, the world shifts. It just shifts. Now, this is a wide spectrum of thinking about ourselves. On one end of the spectrum, at least my spectrum, on one end of the spectrum is narcissism. That's when someone is so focused on themselves. They think the world revolves around them and everybody should be meeting their needs. That's a narcissistic person. In it for themselves. On the other end of the spectrum is someone so buried by toxic, self-deprecating dialogue, questions about worth and worthiness and ability and character and the value of their contribution and the value of their ideas, and burdening themselves with past mistakes they just can't let go of, learn from, and use to serve. When we're in that space at the other end of the spectrum. Now, most of us lean a little bit one way or the other. If we drew a line in the middle and we said, well, am I a little focused on myself? Am I a little just in self-deprecating dialogue? And when I'm over here, there could be all kinds of overcompensations. I might try to act a certain way. I might try to be tough when I really don't feel that way. I might try to set boundaries when I really don't feel that way. I may try to express my beliefs in an attempt to convince myself I'm okay. I may serve to try to prove that I'm okay. If we're over here on this end, which a lot of people are, we want to start hearing this dialogue. Because ideally, we're right in the middle, and it's not about us, and it's not about our self-deprecating dialogue. We're okay. And when we're okay with ourselves, we love ourselves. Not narcissistic, not self-deprecating. We just love ourselves. We honor our intrinsic worth. Here's the key. We're finally available to serve. I've asked this before. You ever had an inspired idea to talk to someone, then talked yourself out of it before you did? They wouldn't want to hear from me. Who do I think I am? Self-deprecating dialogue. When we bring ourselves in from here, which is a little easier than being narcissistic and coming in. This takes some real traumatic stuff to happen in our life to shake us loose. This is just a desire to come from self-deprecating dialogue, have a greater and greater desire to connect with people and love people till I'm so okay. I love myself, so it doesn't need to be about me. I'm going to repeat that. I love myself, so it doesn't need to be about me. I'm now totally available to focus on another person. Now that's ideal. We're all going to have life show up, right? We just want to get here sooner and stay here longer and know how to get here. So that's the first one. Where are we? Do you have a lot of self-deprecating dialogue? Do you have any narcissistic tendencies? Can we rein those things in and be okay with ourselves, love ourselves, and be available to serve? That's the first thing love can do for us. How do we get here? We start exercising our gifts, and we go to the second reason love is so powerful. Why is love a secret? When we are okay with ourselves, we can then listen to another person. Listen. That's the litmus test, that we're okay with ourselves, at least right now, for this moment, we're okay. We love ourselves because we can listen, and not listen on one end of the spectrum to respond. That's still stuck in ourselves. Listen to understand. We're curious because it doesn't need to be about us. We can use all of our gifts to just show up and listen. Really listen. And as we listen, if we bring ourselves to that conversation, not about us, but our life experiences, we'll hear things nobody else is hearing. We'll ask questions nobody else dare ask. We'll see things other people are not seeing. And that will cause us to ask those empathetic questions. Ooh, do you ever feel like this? Has this ever happened to you? Oh. And we give the single greatest gift one human being can give another human being, and that's feeling understood. I've asked this several times, but I'll ask it again. When was the last time someone cared enough about you to really listen until you felt totally understood, and they didn't try to fix you or give you advice? I've asked that question thousands of times into large audiences, and it's almost always a little bit of a it's not top of mind. If we think long enough, I've got a great friend or someone I met 6 years ago. If we can find one, the challenge then is to find two. I rarely have found anybody who has three. Three. Out of the thousands of people we talk to, three people who are so okay with themselves, who love themselves and could make it about you. And really listen until you felt totally understood. And they gave you that gift. They gave it to you because they were okay and weren't narcissistic or in self-deprecating dialogue. In that moment, they were totally present with you. That's the second secret of love, is learning how to listen and be the rare one. It's really rare. But we first, one, want to be okay. Now, we're not going to be able to stay there all the time, but in periods of time. And preparation for that, like reading scroll to get us in this space, to shut off this noise, to actually listen until that person feels understood and start delivering to as many people as we possibly can this great gift of feeling understood. That's the second great secret for love, why it's the secret of success. Because when we leave people feeling understood, their walls come down. And everybody's got one. In a non-adversarial relationship, they're holding back 40% of their energy and cooperation. Their wall comes down. Their energy and cooperation flood out to whom? To you. You're the beneficiary of their energy and cooperation. Because you're okay, you love yourself, you made it about them, they now feel understood, their wall comes down, and energy and cooperation flood out. Can't fake this, can't manipulate this, you actually have to care. And then you can have rich and deep conversations about a lot of things. And many of you have products that you sell that are powerful, wonderful. Everybody should have them, right? Not until their wall's down. Because otherwise you'll just be throwing up on their wall. So we listen and become one of the rare ones. That's number 2. Number 3 is really subtle. Number 3 is all about our pain. How do we show up in our pain? Well, the third secret, why love is the secret to success. The third reason is that we see other people's situations. Yeah. We see the situation they're in, and we show up in a way that helps them feel comfortable, understood, and appreciated. We show up for them. Now, this is most commonly applied when we are suffering. Dear friend of mine, Dan McCormick, who's an ambassador to the Augmentino Group, he and I were doing a podcast the other day, and I called him Dan the Sunshine Man. I just use his example because it's beautiful. Dan is not without challenges in his life. Anybody who's wildly successful has had all kinds of them, but no one ever knows. No one. And I did ask him once, Dan, how do you hold all this in? And he said, everybody else has got enough burdens already without me adding mine to theirs. Can you imagine? Because when we're hurting or frustrated or overwhelmed or we're struggling with illness, sometimes we just want people to come to our rescue and help us out. It's called being a victim. And that person looks like they can give something, but they only give me a little bit. And I'm actually resentful they didn't give more, when in fact they may have given you all they have. And another person, another person, another person. Victims are constantly trying to suck energy out of people to fill the hole in their soul and to salve the pain they have in their life. When we practice love as the greatest secret of success in all ventures, we see other people's situations and we show up in ours in a way that we do not burden them. I wrote about this in Today I Begin a New Life. Susan Zumbrunning, greatest example I personally met and know well, who got third-degree burns on her legs and feet. And the whole time she was in healing through skin grafts and phantom pain and all kinds of crazy stuff. Her Facebook posts were so positive. She shared with everyone all the blessings in her life through that healing process. Those of us closest to her who could really dive in and listen to her could sometimes get a little hint of what it was like, but not very often. She chose to show up in gratitude. When I got burned, I was only a few miles from one of the best burn centers in the country. Wow, it's drawn my husband and I closer together. Wow, my son closer. And on and on and on. I thank God for the blessings in my life. I've become so grateful for life. She just went on and on and on. I got to experience this in real time. I once privately asked her what it was like. She just had her skin scraped off, the dead skin. And you ask a question, did it hurt? And you want to kind of take it back because it feels really weird. Ooh, of course it hurt. She said, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 11. That's the most negative thing she said the whole time we talked for months. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 11. I got the message. But she never let anybody else see it. How often do we mope around wanting everybody to feel sorry for us for all the burdens and challenges we have in our life? Guess what? Everybody else has got their burden and challenges. And we're just trying to have them carry ours and theirs and fill the hole in our soul with their sympathy. Yes, the third reason why love is the greatest secret of success is that we see other people's situations and we show up in them in a way not to offend. Now, there are others. As you become increasingly successful in your business, and you might have some wonderful things in your life, you want to be very careful how and where you share them, so that if you do, is to bless a life and to inspire a life, not to discourage a life. We see. So there we go. The 3 reasons why love is the greatest secret of success in all ventures is that it gets us outside of ourselves, past our self-deprecating dialogue or narcissistic tendencies, to be okay and whole so that we can focus on another. 2, we actually listen. We become one of the rare ones. And we listen and we leave people feeling understood. We give the greatest gift we can give a human being over and over and over again. Imagine being that person when I ask someone, has anybody ever listened to you till you felt totally understood? They didn't try to fix you or give you advice. They say Bob Thurwell, Tammy Taylor, Lisa Rodriguez, Layla, Leas, there we go. I think I've got it. Leas Rodriguez, Dee Corchin. I could go down the whole list. Oh, yes. I know Dee really well. Dee, Tammy, yes. Yeah. Let's be that person. And number 3, let us see another person's circumstance. And make sure that when we show up, we're not bringing our victimhood and causing a greater burden for them, or bringing our successes in a way that crush their enthusiasm. Let's just be really careful. This is a tender topic, especially right now with economics the way they are. Let us practice these principles. Let us integrate them. Let us start practicing listening. Let's start practicing getting inspired ideas and acting on them, living present in the now, all the things that can help heal some of this self-deprecating dialogue to get in this place. Because it all starts with you being okay with yourself, healthy and whole, available to serve, because then you get to be the rare one. Then you get to see. Have a blessed day, everyone, and a week Let's integrate this fully and come back next Monday and take life to the next level. Thanks, everyone.